one station making history every day.
Chicago, Chicago.
Now, John Cass and Lauren Cohn.
89 WPLS.
Yes, we need an ambulance and the cop buddy stuck underneath the house. The house just fell through.
Okay, and what happened to the house?
The bedroom floor just collapsed, and my brother-in-law is in there. He's underneath the house.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me connect this to EMS, okay?
Okay.
Talk about scary.
My brother-in-law just got sucked down under the bed into the netherworld. That has got to be so bizarre. I just can't deal with
So
this.
here you are. You're in bed. This is a house in Hillsborough County, Florida, John.
Okay,
people
so
are
he's
in the
bed
house. A
during
number
the
of people.
Day. That's freaky.
He's in bed. There's some people in the other room. The brother, a baby, the other women in the room. And the next thing you know, he's gone.
The bedroom gets sucked down into, past the magma through the layers of subcutaneous rock or whatever they talk about.
20 feet wide, 50 feet deep. The brother apparently, and this is what's confusing to us, this is totally miffed, somehow tries to jump in the hole and save him. Isn't able to. And they haven't been able to find him.
How do you not save somebody? How quick does a sinkhole? That's freaky. I don't need that in my life, Lauren, to have sinkhole worries now.
And apparently in Florida they have this porous bedrock. I'm just learning this from our Professor Schnookums, who's really our producer, Jeffrey Carlin, who knows a lot about science.
And by the way, Jeffrey, someday we will get him on because he doesn't want to come on, even though he knows how to use the word homeostasis.
Which was on the calendar page this morning, those that have the big words, you have those calendars at home. But anyway, so he's explained to us that you have this porous geological rock. The acid rain falls, dissolves the rock and creates these caverns.
Yeah.
So that's basically what we're dealing with.
And you get sucked in. We're going to have an expert from the Florida Department of Natural Resources.
Are you scared to go to bed? This can happen anywhere.
Number one, what's the guy doing in bed during the day? Okay? All right? It's
He
after
works
6
a night
o'clock.
shift, John.
Get out of bed. All right?
Maybe Jeff Bush worked a night shift.
Number two, is there some kind of evil presence there around? You know what I mean? Is there some... were there any cloven hoofs in the sand? I don't know. Yes, I do. Number three.
Because we're taking your calls on this because John and I are trying to understand this. It's very sad this man died, but this whole thing about sinkholes is just completely mind-boggling.
591-8900, sinkholes are us. But here's the really freaky thing. You're getting sucked down into a sinkhole in the bedroom.
Right.
And your brother's in the kitchen. And it's like a ranch house, right? It's like 3 steps. You're in the bedroom. Nobody went and, I don't get it.
Nobody else got hurt. They went in to try and save him, but he couldn't reach him in the rubble.
What? How fast does a sinkhole operate? Like that?
I mean, it's is it you blink and you're gone?
And plus, I already have enough things to worry about. I've got germs. What else do we have?
Spontaneous human combustion.
That'll happen any minute. And now sinkholes. I don't like the idea, and I can't do anything about it because apparently they're true.
Yeah, it's really scary.
Well, I don't know.
Apparently they were looking through the rubble and finding family photos and a jewelry box and a teddy bear.
And a hand sticking out, help me! What? Can you shout from? What happens? You get collapsed and crushed? James, are you a man of science? James from Park Forest.
Well, I am not a man of science, but I am a man of Valrico, Florida, that moved back to Chicago, and it happens a lot down there. I mean, usually, though, it happens around the farmlands, where they have the orange groves and all that, because they pump the water out of the ground, and it causes these big openings to open up, and usually it's, like I said, it's usually in the middle of an orange grove or something like that. But it happens quite frequently in that area.
So they're removing the water from the groundwater for their irrigation, and then other water goes and seeps in too quickly and then causes a sinkhole?
No, actually, when they pump the water out, it just leaves a big hole. Access, there's nothing to fill it back in with. So the ground actually overweighs it and just caves in.
Well, what happens when it rains? I mean, you can't stop the rain.
Well, this doesn't normally happen during the rain season. Usually this happens right around now in the cold winter when it starts to freeze, and I know it's hard to believe that Florida actually does get cold, but when it gets cold like that, the farmers pump the water out, because if you keep the plants moist and wet, the oranges won't freeze. So when that happens...
Right, they missed them. So right, just around the time, Mr. Florida, James from Park Forest, that the snook are going up into the creeks, right? Because I'm a snook fisherman down there. That's the time that this thing happens, correct?
Usually anywhere from November through April or May, right before the rain season really kicks in.
Does it happen in 10 seconds so that you can't save your brother?
Oh,
like throw him a rope?
Quick. You wouldn't even know that you were on top of a possible sinkhole.
It's like quicksand.
Unless you lived, like you went to buy a house and you had the ground evaluated prior to your purchase.
All right.
I bought a house down there and we didn't have it done. And right down the street from us, a sinkhole opened up about maybe 2 months later.
Oh, boy. Thanks,
anybody
James.
Hurt? Wow. Yeah. That's scary.
Thanks, James. Don't get sucked down that sinkhole. Jim from Chicago. Jim.
John, you need to keep your fears to yourself, my friend. You're going to start a panic. But the solution is don't buy a ranch house. Put your bedroom on the second floor.
Right, because otherwise some creepo can climb in,
That's right. Or you can go below again. So
I don't need to go below. I'm already going there, I think. Sometimes I'm afraid, Well,
on your way. You guys have a great day.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Lori must know something.
Lori in Indiana. Lori, can you tell me, would you save your brother-in-law or brother, or would you just let him go? Lori, Indiana.
What'd you say?
Would you save your brother-in-law, or would you just keep watching TV?
I like my brother-in-laws. They're nice. Yeah, but no, I wanted to say, the guy who told you about the lime and everything, that's really true. Mm-hmm. And Indiana has a lot of lime, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So are there sinkholes near you?
You can get insurance for that. When you buy a house, you buy sinkhole insurance.
Get out of here.
Honest to God, yeah.
Get out.
You better have a life insurance policy, too.
John? Just use some Windex. You Greeks, you use Windex and everything.
Windex cures the sinkhole. Just spray the dirt with the Windex, and like this, it's fine.
I feel sorry for the guy really doing his family, but
it
I
is
had to
a tragic
say that.
story.
That was pretty funny.
I have to say, Lori, I don't believe your sinkhole insurance story.
Yeah, no, look it up. You can.
Well, it's a good thing we've got an expert coming up pretty soon,
okay,
John,
thanks,
from the DNR. State geologist from Florida is going to be coming up in the next break.
Well,
explain it?
Well, is it time to buy sinkhole insurance, Lori, or what? We'll find out more after traffic and weather with Ryan Burrow. It's 10:15. WLS, we love sinkholes. John Cass, Lauren Cohn. I'm terrified with the whole sinkhole experience, Lauren.
This is a really scary story out of Florida, which is a good reason why we have Dr. John Arthur, an expert, a state geologist, joining us on the line to explain this to us. Good morning, Dr. Arthur.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here.
You who are so wise in the ways of science, can you please help us with the sinkhole?
How does this happen?
Absolutely. Sinkholes are naturally occurring features throughout the country, but in particular in Florida and a few other states, Tennessee, Kentucky, Pennsylvania. And they form because rock in the subsurface dissolves, and it's naturally dissolving. In Florida, that rock would be limestone. In other parts of the state, limestone or dolostone. In other parts of the country, it might be halite, which is rock salt, or gypsum, but some kind of rock that can dissolve. And it takes hundreds to thousands to tens of thousands of years for these processes to dissolve away the rock. And these cavities form in the subsurface, and they can work their way to land surface. The sediment above eventually can collapse and form these sinkholes.
Is it unusual, though, to take a life like in this situation with Mr. Jeff Bush?
It's extremely tragic and fortunately very, very uncommon that this occurs. In Florida, it has occurred recently. There was another loss of life in April of 2011. There was a driller drilling a well, and the drilling activity triggered a sinkhole, and that gentleman passed as well. But
you can understand that. I just can't understand a guy sitting in his easy chair watching Maury Povich or something, like Who's My Baby's Daddy, and then the next thing you know, you're getting sucked into the ground. Like, don't you get a warning first, Doctor?
Well, the rate at which these things can happen varies widely. Sinkholes can form over tens of years, very, very slowly, or they can form extremely rapidly. And it all depends on the subsurface geology, the triggering events. There's just a lot of variables. In this particular instance, it's absolutely a surprise and sort of a
freak of nature.
Yeah, I was trying not to say that as a scientist, but yeah,
right.
It's extremely uncommon because
kind of like spontaneous combustion.
No, not much of a freak. I mean, the sinkholes do occur. The fact that this one occurred under a home and didn't even extend out beyond the walls of the home was extremely rare. The fact that the floors, the home itself responded the way it did, and I don't know those circumstances. That's extremely surprising. Generally, if you have some warning, you'll see cracks in the wall. You might hear things. Your doors or windows might become hard to open or shut through time. But if
what would you hear?
Just popping sounds in your home, for example.
That would be the
like mini
frame,
tremors, or
like the frame of your house cracking because the
right,
earth is
or
shifting.
plaster, or brick, etc. Grout becoming unseated from the cinder block.
Is this poor man dead? Do we know this?
Pardon?
Is this man dead, or do we know he's dead, or are you just assuming?
The reports I'm seeing is that he is presumed dead. There is not a confirmation that I am aware of that he's definitely passed.
Because they haven't been able to find him.
I'm sorry to say
Correct.
that. Also, I'm sorry to say that for many years I believed that underneath the subcutaneous rock there was a giant cavern with little furry people and dinosaurs for adventures. But are you saying that never that's not true? Like the Land of the Lost?
I was going to ask what movie you've been watching lately.
Come on, you saw the same movies too when you were a kid. You thought it might be true. Arnie Saknussemm, Journey to the Center of the Earth. Come on. That might have inspired your interest in geology at the beginning.
Well, indeed, I had a lot of childhood influences that led me to become a geologist, but in terms of furry little people and dinosaurs and subsurface cavities, no, sorry, can't help you there.
So no, not even like supermodels and for bikinis and nothing there. Okay.
No, not.
Dr. Arthur's a man of science, John.
World.
Come on.
Doctor, thank you. Please protect the snook. That's all I care about. The sinkholes are fine. Just protect the snook as they breed up in the creeks. Thank you for joining us, Doctor. Thank you, John Arthur, state geologist for Florida.
We learned a lot.
Thank you, sir, for your time. John Cass, Lauren Cohn, back after this. I still go with the Amazons and the fur bikini thing. Back after this, 591-8900.
89 WLS. Get the latest news, listen live, and see what we're talking about at WLSAM.com. Plus, check out the latest video and photo galleries, weather channel forecasts, and on-demand traffic. All at WLSAM.com.
Tim, 30 seconds. Got the last word on the signal.
Hello, Lauren.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Lauren. And John, you too, hello. Hey,
Hi,
when I
Tim.
first heard this story, I thought, you know what? Somebody's trying to play me, because I'm thinking, okay, I understand a sinkhole can suddenly appear, but how does the floor collapse under your house? I mean, I can see the ground, but how does the floor go at the same time and just in this guy's room?
That's what we've been wondering. We're miffed as well, Tim.
Did his
Yeah,
head
'cause
spin around 3 times, and was there any pea soup? Okay, that's what I'm wondering.
Could it just be a kind of somebody spinning the yarn so that I'll watch television and then I watch the advertisers and then I'm online as somebody watching television?
No,
They can
that's
count
not
me as
the
one of their people?
case. No, that's not the case. But thanks, Tim. That's not the case. This is the news. And one coming up, we got something serious, Lauren.
Yeah, it's 176 years old today. Do you know what it is? It's Chicago.
So what do we give
We want to
it?
know, what do we give it?
What do you give Chicago?
What do you get Chicago?
Besides your life, your liberty, your happiness.
And your freedom.
See ya. And your cash. 591-8900. Come up with gift ideas for Chicago. John Cass, Lauren Cohn, back after this.
89 WLS.